We are very pleased to be able to announce this. We have more work to do, but this should give us a good path forward in reopening our state.
A huge announcement from Governor Jay Inslee today. Washington on track to fully reopen by the end of June, potentially even earlier. And those masks, well, if you're fully vaccinated, you no longer need them.
Plus masks, distancing, and remote options. Washington has updated their coronavirus guidelines for schools, the newest requirements for the 2021 and 2022 school year.
The dry conditions continue to be the main storyline across the inland Northwest, and I'm tracking if we have any semblance of rain chances in our forecast.
But this is a huge step forward. It is a new chapter in our fight against COVID.
If you are fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing because of the pandemic.
Inslee today, Washington on track to fully reopen by June 30th and potentially even sooner if we meet vaccination goals.
After 14 months of restrictions, shutdowns, and cancellations, a huge sigh of relief for businesses and all Washingtonians. What's more, for the first time since the pandemic, that mask mandate is coming off. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Regina Ahn. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer have to wear a mask. That is according to the new guideline from the CDC today.
It takes 2 weeks after your final dose to be considered fully vaccinated, and you might still be asked to mask up in certain settings like at hospitals or private businesses, which can also still impose mask requirements for customers regardless of vaccinations. And if you haven't gotten your vaccine yet or are partially vaccinated, the CDC says you should keep masking up and stay 6 feet away from other people. And Governor Inslee on board with making those changes. He announced that Washington will follow the CDC guidance and get rid of that mask mandate for fully vaccinated people.
So that was one of the numerous announcements he made today, but one of the biggest was a reopening target date. Inslee said that Washington is on track to fully reopen by June 30th, but there are a couple caveats. If statewide ICU capacity reaches 90%, restrictions could return. On the flip side, though, we could fully reopen before June 30th if we meet the goal of 70% of Washingtonians that are vaccinated. So where are we right now in terms of that vaccination goal? As of today, around 57% of people over the age of 16 have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine, and about 43% of the Washington population is fully vaccinated.
Here in Spokane, it's all about getting more people vaccinated. About 46% of residents have started the vaccination process. The state planning to work with businesses to provide incentives for vaccinated people like gift cards and prizes. So bottom line, if we want to fully reopen, we all need to get our vaccine. And bottom line also, it's been an extremely challenging 14 months. So for many of these people, these announcements are a breath of fresh air after a year plus of restrictions.
Yeah, and what seemed like small steps to getting back to normal now feels like a huge leap toward normalcy.
I'm absolutely ecstatic about it. I'm so thrilled that we can finally go on a date with no restriction, you know. We've been locked up for so long, and this is the time to just get out and start celebrating and enjoying ourselves.
I'm just really happy to see businesses being able to open back up and to do what they love to do, to serve food, to have concerts, and, you know, for people to be able to enjoy the wonderful things in life again.
I'm excited that life's getting back to normal and we can all get out and mingle and meet new people and meet with old friends.
Yeah.
And to that.
That's a great word of advice, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, beyond adults, what do these announcements mean for kids? Specifically, what do they mean for guidelines surrounding K-12 school and the return to in-person learning?
So all Washington schools are now required to come up with a new plan for the new school year. And KREM 2's Joshua Robinson joins us now to break down what those new plans need to include.
That task at hand right now is for schools and districts in Washington to get to work on their new plan for the 2021-22 school year. And let's take a look at some of those requirements. Everyone on a school campus will continue wearing a cloth face covering inside or outdoors when 6 feet of distance isn't possible. We've heard that guidance before. Schools are also responsible to keep ventilation needs updated to fit the needs of our continuing understanding of the COVID virus. Now, schools also must have a responsible response plan in case of any possible infections, and if an infection happens, instruction must be provided to students who have to be quarantined. Now, while we're inside of the classroom, 3 feet of physical distancing is still required, with 6 feet of distance inside but outside the classroom. Of course, the state says this is important. Physical distancing itself should not keep a school from offering that full-time in-person learning plan. Schools are also being asked to create a separate plan, though, that doesn't include any social distancing at all. And that's in case our numbers improve enough to remove those restrictions altogether. We've also reached out to Inslee's office today with questions about how today's news impacts children under the age of 12 who currently don't qualify to receive that vaccine. Of course, the DOH says more details will continue to be made available in the days ahead. In the newsroom, I'm Joshua Robinson.
We'll keep you posted as we learn more as well. In the meantime, let's talk weather. A beautiful day across the inland Northwest. And if you can believe it, it'll be even warmer weather heading our way.
I can believe it.
There we go.
Let's get straight to meteorologist Thomas Patrick out on the Outdoor Weather Center here tonight. So Thomas, are you saying you're tracking some 80-degree temps?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can believe it too. Of course, as we get later into spring, most of us are thinking, hey, summer's around the corner and we just can't wait, especially to get outside and do some of that warm and outdoor weather enjoyment. We'll get a taste of that for this weekend. So going to show you a lot of temperatures here on the weather maps. It was 74 and sunny today. Doesn't get much better than that, but if you're a fan of the warmer weather, this weekend is definitely going to be for you. As we walk you through tomorrow, partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies during the daytime hours. Maybe even upper 70s. Our hour-by-hour forecast tops us out at about 77 degrees for the afternoon for this upcoming Friday. But as we fast forward into Sunday, that'll be the warmest day of my forecast here. A lot of 80s on the map, and as you might expect, some 90s in central Washington. Now, the other side of that coin is just how dry it's been. We've got the latest information on our drought monitor situation across Washington and North Idaho, and I'm going to compare how this looks to previous years and previous Mays more specifically, and how we are doing compared to some of those previous years as well. So look for that information in a few minutes.
Looking forward to that, Thomas. Thank you very much. And still ahead tonight, Coeur d'Alene's housing market has been named the hottest in the nation. Certainly good news for sellers, not so good for buyers though. The red hot housing market has some locals feeling like they can no longer afford their hometown. So coming up after the break in a KREM 2 special report, we have more on how local residents are struggling to keep up with the cost of housing.
And last year, Congress passed sweeping bipartisan reforms regarding those robocalls, and soon the Supreme Court is also set to weigh in. But even though everyone agrees robocalls are just annoying, the efforts to stop them have so far fallen short. So coming up later on KREM 2 News, we'll find out why.